I look like shit. I need a new skincare routine. I sound like Plankton from SpongeBob. The Krabby Patty secret formula. I have just got back from seeing Scream 2022 for the second time in a row. 2 days in a row I've seen this movie. That should be a review enough. But I always like to see, the Scream movies are always different the second time around when you know who is behind the mask, I had a friend that had tickets to an early screening that I went to, and very nice of them. And then I went the next day because I really wanted to see it again. So, that being said, this is very hard for me to... Okay, I don't know how I'm going to talk about this without spoiling the movie. Because it's very... I'm not... Okay, for the first couple minutes here, let's say 2 or 3 minutes, I'm not going to spoil the movie. I'm just going to say, what I thought about it. And then afterwards, we'll go deep into it. So, first off, maybe I should have done my Hallow Scream videos after this movie came out. By the way, if you haven't seen my Hallow Scream videos... They're right there. I rank like every portion of the Scream movies. I rank the kills, the killers, the movies themselves, the opening scenes. I rank all of it. So check those out. But this definitely throws a wrench in those rankings because I really like this movie, and I think this might be my second favorite Scream movie. But maybe I'm just like on a high from like seeing a new Scream movie. But I wanted to get this review out as soon as possible. I did let it marinate. I mean, I did see it twice in a row, but still, maybe I'm still on that just high of seeing like Ghostface back on the big screen, hearing that voice on the big screen again, seeing the okay, I gotta calm down. So, pros and cons. Here's what I liked and what I didn't like. I very much, I don't know why a lot of the reviews I read after I saw it, they're like, this movie's very funny. I'm not saying it's not funny, but Scream 1 is way funnier. This is a very... this movie deals with some more serious, maybe melodramatic type of things than Screams 1, 2, 3, and 4 have ever dealt with. It gets kind of, I wouldn't say heavy, but there are things that are, there are character choices that are like very interesting. But I mean, when there's humor in this movie, it really lands, I think, for the most part. There are some funny bits and jokes in this flick that is, especially by the end, that really made me laugh. And there are some, I can't get into it. Killer motivations are very funny to me in these movies. Billy and Stu's motivation makes sense. Scream 2 makes sense. Scream 3 does not make sense. Scream 4, okay. This one, it makes sense to me. But I think this movie is going to divide a lot of people because I can't get into it. Son of a bitch. Even when I try to talk about that. This movie is going to divide a lot of people. But if you are not beholden and are open to changes in your favorite movies, you'll get a kick out of this one, is what I'll try to say. I think that's vague enough. The new characters are very charming. I was worried because Scream 4 kind of doesn't hold up with the characters, except for what's Hayden Panettiere's character, Kirby, but that's it, really. The rest of the characters in Scream 4 are kind of just like very dated, or just they don't hold my attention or as charming. But this movie, I think, is very well written in the characters portion, because a lot of the side characters are very interesting and charming, and then the main characters are interesting but not charming. And maybe they could have. I'm not gonna criticize someone's acting because I'm not a good actor, but I also would love to be in a Scream movie. So who am I to say? But there is a lot of over dramatic things that are kind of like soap opera-y at times that I don't think land with the performances. But that might just be like the writing in that portion. But in total, look, this movie's awesome. The returning characters back are awesome. New characters are fun. This movie, Ghostface in this movie is foreboding as goddamn hell. I think this is the most menacing he's ever been in a movie. It's like Ghostface, the figure. There's a lot of shots where Ghostface is like shot from below, so he's like looming, and it's very, very like he's finally threatening to me, because in the first movie he's always getting knocked around. I mean, he's getting knocked around a lot in this movie. Ghostface has always been one of the clumsiest goddamn serial killers of all time, but in this one he's not knocked around as much, and he gets back up fast. And the way this is a gnarly movie. The way he kills some people in this movie, there's some really cool kills in this movie, really gnarly stuff. It's very fun. The effects are much better than I mean, it's been a decade already since Scream 4, which I feel old because I saw that in theaters. I mean, there are people who saw Scream 1 in theaters. I mean, I have, but re-releases. But still, it's been a decade, so effects are better, but the gore effects in this movie are fucking great. Really nuts. There's a lot of practical blood, thankfully, in this one. A lot. Story-wise, I mean, okay, the meta stuff, which is a staple of Scream, is really fun, I think. And I was like, I wonder what the meta stuff for this Scream movie would be. And the direction it is pretty accurate to modern horror, honestly. And it tackles all of modern horror, not just modern slashers, but it tackles all of modern horror in this one movie. And I don't want to get into it. I'll get into it in spoilers, but it is very fun. But yeah, I think this is a fun movie. I know I do see how this might divide fans, especially with the I can't say, but it might divide fans. But for me, I'm not very if a sequel changes something, it doesn't change it for me. You know what I mean? I know people are mad at prequels, and I'm mad at the Star Wars prequels too, but I still have Star Wars, and there are things to like in the prequels. I'm not grasping so tight onto a franchise I love and not gonna let it. I'm not gonna not let it change. I don't know. I'm not making sense. It's just there are things that in this movie that I like what they say. All right. Spoilers from here on out. If you don't want to get spoiled, I'm gonna go into detail, a lot of detail about everything. So if you don't want to get spoiled, stop now. Go see the movie twice if you can, because I really do think that this movie is fun the second time around. All Scream movies are fun second time around, but I do think there are a lot of details in this movie that are there for the second time around. So, all right, here we go. Spoilers. Because as soon as they revealed the casting and it was the dude from The Boys, I'm like, that's him. Why would you cast him? That's the killer. That dude has the most Matthew Lillardian qualities of a person's just whole demeanor is just so Matthew Lillard. That guy from The Boys. There he is. That being said, I wasn't mad that I called it so early. Before I even saw the movie. I wasn't mad about it because his character was so entertaining and charming. And his performance is very entertaining and charming. Just like Matthew Lillard's performance is entertaining and charming. And I'm sure that people back in the first Scream called Matthew Lillard being the killer probably just because that dude acted so fucking wacky in the first movie. Same case here. he didn't necessarily act wacky in this movie, but the dude was very realistic in his reactions, where he was just like, why would we go back to the murder house? Or like, well, we're not going back. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't want to get killed. Things like that. His whole just... He knew what he was... He knew he was in a scary movie, and he just did not want to be in a scary movie until it's revealed that he is, behind it all. But it's very funny that he is trying to make his scary movie while being the person in the movie that he's making that's aware that he's in a scary movie. It's so fucking... Alright. The second killer I also called, but that's because I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which, if you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, spoilers for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, go see that. This girl is making a career out of getting set on fire, and it's very funny. That girl gets set on fire and tries to kill people. I really hope that whatever movie she's in next, even if it's a romantic comedy, she gets set on fire. I really hope that's just like a trend in her career. Opening scene. It's the scene everyone's seen in the trailers, if you've seen the trailers. It's cool. I like... Okay, this is where we get into it. All right. The meta commentary about requels, as they call it, a reboot sequel, and the meta commentary on elevated horror movies together, and then this movie being a requel but also trying to be an elevated horror movie is really funny to me. Because it is the reboot sequel where it's new characters that are bringing in the old characters while continuing the story of the old movies but making its own story. And then it has the portions of elevated horror, which is like a family drama that just happens to have horrific things happening in it. Like it's really... It's funny that the movie starts out with like its thesis statement, like elevated horror slasher, and they talk about it in the beginning. Ghostface talks to the girl on the phone, and she's like, I like the Babadook, Hereditary. The way she likes A24 movies, which is, yeah, I mean, me too. But it's very funny that she was like, ask me something about Hereditary or the Babadook, and I'm like, no, that's not the kind of movie this is. But then it turns into kind of that kind of movie where it's just like family drama all the time. That was very smart and clever. Another thing I liked about the opening is that she survives. I was like, what? What do you mean she's alive? That's a lie. But no, she's alive and she makes it through the whole movie. It's crazy to have your opening scene be the final girl. Or one of the final girls. It's all final girls. And one guy. One final guy. But it's crazy to have the opening scene be with a final girl. That's crazy. And for the side characters, the new team, as you would call them, they're all pretty fucking fun people. I really like, not to skip ahead, but I like that the guy is named Wes. And I like that, I mean, as soon as they said his name was Wes, I'm like, either he's the killer, either he's the second killer, or he's gonna get killed. But Wes is not gonna make it through this whole movie. But I like that the end of the movie takes place in the house from the first Scream, and there's a big sign in the house that just says "For Wes," and I was like, oh, that's very... And then it ends with "For Wes," but I was like, that's such a nice little tribute. Like, the whole climax is for Wes. The whole movie is for Wes, but like that climax especially is like, this is for Wes. I really enjoyed that little bit of sort of meta commentary there. But and then you got the twins that are Randy's niece and nephew, which was I didn't see that coming. And then Randy said, they have the Randy Meeks Memorial Home Theater, which is such a great little fucking detail there, man. The fucking Randy Meeks Memorial Home Theater. That's so cute. And having Randy's niece be like the one that does the whole Randy speech about requels and stuff like that. That is a fun little it's poetry. This movie is like, it rhymes with the first movie in ways. It really is like almost a remake and a sequel. It's a requel. And then you got the girl who's not interesting at all, and they keep pointing out how not interesting she is, and then she just dies not being interesting. Which is so mean. What a mean character to have in a movie. That's just rude. You're not interesting. Your boyfriend thinks you might be a killer because you're so not interesting that you might be the killer for trying to be interesting. And she just dies not being interesting, really. It's so fucked up. It's rude. And then you got the friend that turns out to be the killer. And then you got the boyfriend, and you got the sisters. The sisters, I'm not saying they're not interesting, but they don't really have as much of a presence as Sydney would. But I will, and this is where I think it's going to divide fans. Well, this and another reason I'll get to later. But the Billy Loomis ghost, the Force ghost of Billy Loomis haunting her, I did not see that cameo coming. That's a very cool cameo. And I really was waiting for the whole movie for Matthew Lillard, like a Lillard ghost, a Stu ghost, but no, just a Billy Loomis ghost. De-ageified Skeet Ulrich with them goddamn bangs. It's so cool to see him again in the stabbed, his death outfit. But yeah, her being Billy Loomis's daughter is what I meant when I said melodramatic. It's a bit soap opera-y. I'm the daughter of Billy Loomis, the bastard child that he only revealed until now. I just but I like what they do with her. Just having her question, like, am I gonna be a serial killer too? Like, that's something that children of serial killers certainly have to deal with. And her just seeing him in her reflection a lot. It reminded me a lot of Last Night in Soho. If you guys seen Last Night in Soho, it reminded me of that. Just seeing like the reflection of like the dead person that's like haunting your memories. But yeah, I really like Billy Loomis in this. I found Billy Loomis to be way more interesting in this than the last, than Billy Loomis's mom, or something like that. The Loomis family, once again, a Loomis family takes it this time. The Loomis family's fucked up. I mean, this family cannot catch a break. Not even the daughter can catch a break. But yeah, I liked it personally that they're trying to explore something where she has the potential, an extreme potential and motive to be the villain of a Scream movie. She very much could be a villain of a Scream movie. And they try to frame her as that at the end, but she's not. She's a final girl through and through. But still, at the end, she's still questioning, like, am I? Or, like, I did technically kill people. It was self-defense, but I mean, I am a killer now. And I like that she tells Sydney, like, am I going to be alright after this? That is I found that very interesting, personally. But like the family drama, like, this is why I left my family, left my sister alone. That definitely felt like a Degrassi episode to me. That being said, the two actresses, again, I think it's just the lines they have to deliver are kind of cheesy, but they did a swell job. Especially the one that got stabbed and is in the hospital the whole movie. I don't know the actress's name, but she's great. She's got a really good scared face, which is really necessary for these movies. But she's very good at that. I fucking love that the Dewey arc from Scream 1 to here is pretty much David Arquette's life. If that makes sense. Like, David Arquette starts out as this kind of funny, charming actor. And then Scream 2 comes along, and in David Arquette's career, he's kind of more comedic. And then Scream 3 comes along, and that's around the point where him and Courtney Cox are just really romantically involved. And then Scream 4 comes along, and they're on the rocks. And then Scream 5 comes along, and now they're divorced, a la in real life. But also, Dewey is not as funny as he used to be. I'm not saying David Arquette is not funny anymore. I'm just saying that David Arquette's... He's more, like, he's fucking ripped. First of all, he's like a wrestler now. And I like that Dewey is sort of now also just like this old ripped dude that just is like over that shit. I just found that very fun. His character is the most interesting in the movie to me. Look, we all knew it was inevitable, especially the amount of times they pointed out in this movie. That's when I knew. Like, they pointed out at least 3 times that, like, dude, you've been stabbed so many times during these films. And then they mention it again that he's been stabbed a bunch. I'm like, oh, he's dead. There's no way. There's no way they bring that up and not kill him. But, I mean, what a way to go. It's a fun callback to, like, all of Dewey's best moments. It's Dewey saving the day, Dewey shooting him, Dewey forgetting the head again. Once again, Dewey, the head. But yeah, it was really, that's like the one death in the movie that really made me like sad. I was really sad. I mean, we all love Dewey. But what a way to go. I really like that he got the "it's an honor" line from Ghostface. Just to be like, it's an honor to finally be the Ghostface that kills you this time. Which is a really cool line for Ghostface. But yeah, goddamn, he got stabbed from both sides and then fucking lifted and then sliced up. Fucking brutal, dude. The kills in this movie, by the way, brutal. I'm jumping all over the place because I just got back home from the second time watching it, so it's still like going through my mind. The opening, like she gets slashed, she gets stabbed like a shit ton of times. The stab through the hand was crazy, and then the stomp on the ankle, brutal. And another thing that Ghostface does in this movie, which is fucking brutal and menacing, is the 2-hand, like, force the knife in. And he does it a lot in this movie. And at one point he goes, poof, and just, like, shoves the knife into the policewoman, Judy. In broad daylight, in the open, on her front door, fucking, that was a crazy sequence. And then he goes in. Okay, this is one of my favorite parts of the movie, when Wes, the character, gets killed, because the setup is so funny to me. And I don't think the people in my audience both times understood what was so funny about it, but they keep, if you guys saw it, like, the door opening and then the music swells up because you think he's going to be behind the door when it closes, and he's never behind the door. Like, he opens the door and closes it like 5 times, and Ghostface is never there, and Ghostface just shows up behind him. Like, it just keeps fucking with your expectations, that one. That was a really funny kill to me. And then it turned brutal with the knife going through the neck, and you see it go like all the way through and stick out the other side. I really hope that was a practical. It looked like a practical effect to me, like a prosthetic that they sliced the knife through like that. Crazy kill. Another kill I really liked was when before that one too, when he kills the dude at the bar, with the guy turns his car off and then Ghostface behind him, and he sees Ghostface and it just goes, and that's it. That was such a quick done. He's dead. Crazy kill. I really like that one. I mean, that poor girl. I mean, she was interesting, kinda. She had pink hair. Got shot in the face. What a way to go. I mean, somebody has to get shot in the face in all of these movies. There's always somebody. And the girl getting set on fire was funny as hell. She gets hit with hand sanitizer and then set on fire. I mean, hey, we're in a post-COVID world. Getting killed with hand sanitizer is a way to go. Good job. The twins' deaths are very fun too. Just with the Find My iPhone thing, fucking with the guy, and then also her watching the first Stab movie, and it's the part where Randy's like, behind you, and then she's like, no, behind you, and then there's Ghostface behind her. It's so fucking. It's like a. Again, it's like poetry. It rhymes, but it's also like a reflection of a reflection of a reflection. It's crazy that this movie does that a lot. But I think they land. Some people might think like, oh, it's fan service, but I think it lands. Speaking of fan service, okay, let's get into why I really think this movie will divide people. This movie goes after some toxic fans. By the way, hold on, before we get into that, did you guys see that fucking Dead Meat cameo? James A. Janice and Chelsea Rebecca in a Scream movie? Dead Meat is in a Scream movie? Dead Meat is in a horror movie? I was like the only one in the theater, but I was like freaking out. I was like, oh, it was so cool. I was watching them like a proud parent. I was like, oh man, good for them. Okay, but let's get into the villain motivations here. Very funny that Rian Johnson is the director of the Last Stab movie, and it's very funny that nobody liked the Last Stab movie. I like The Last Jedi. I like Knives Out. I have a Knives Out poster there. I'm a Rian Johnson fan. So I found that very funny. I really found that very funny. And then having the killers be people who don't like that last movie is very fucking funny. It's pretty much the Star Wars fans that are the murderers. It's toxic fandom that are killing people. And it's like, no, you didn't do it right. You gotta, do a requel. And you gotta do this movie. This is the real movie. It's so fucking funny. It's really funny that those are the killers. Has nothing to do with like personal vendettas as all the other Scream movies are. It's really just I want this next Scream movie to be good. So I'm gonna make it good by making the stories based on good. That was very funny. Like, we've gone past personal vendettas, and now the killers are people who are fans of the movie itself. I found that very funny. But again, I like Last Jedi. I'm sure the people that don't like Last Jedi are going to see this and going to get mad. Or maybe not. Just toxic fans. Like, stop with the toxicity in the fan community. I don't like the word fandom, because even that word now has become just this fucking... It's a loaded word now, the word fandom. So, I mean, they're on Reddit and shit in Scream. That's fucking hilarious. It's very funny to me. And then the girl keeps trying to say I was peer pressured into it by online... I was radicalized by online groups on Reddit and 4chan. That was very... that was very funny. But yeah, I think that's a very, very funny motivation, and it's a solid motivation. And then the way they both get killed is very fun and solid. She stabs the fuck out of that dude, man. She is the daughter of a serial killer. She lets loose that rage. And then having Billy Loomis be like, hey, there's a knife over there. The ghost of Billy Loomis just goading his daughter on to murder this dude. Really fun. Climax. I love that Gail and Sid, when they go to the house and the girl walks out faking that she's a victim, and they're both like, no, I don't believe it. That was so good. They're so used to this that they know immediately when someone's the killer. I mean, Gail gets shot again in like the same spot from Scream 2, I think. That lady gets shot a lot in these movies. Sid gets stabbed again. These people have survived a lot. Sid's got kids now, which is interesting. Maybe that's a Scream the next generation. Scream babies or something. I don't know. But yeah, I really liked it a lot. This new entry in the franchise. This maybe final entry in the franchise, because I don't really see where they could go from here after this. They kind of said all they needed to say about like where horror is now, and I think 10 years from now, I don't think we're gonna be wanting a new Scream movie. Especially because I feel like Nev and Courtney Cox are gonna be a bit older. And maybe then they'll just be like Jamie Lee in Halloween, where she's just gonna she spent all of Halloween Kills in a hospital room. That's pretty much how the next Scream would be in 10 years. I don't want that. I'm truly happy if this series ended here. Although I do wish, if they do make another one, I am available to be in Scream 6. Just saying. I would like to be killed brutally, if possible, in Scream 6. Yeah, I mean, look, voice of Ghostface, Roger L. Jackson, doing a great job as always. Great vocal performance. I really like the fake out vocal performance in the opening, where he pretends to be like a friend of the family, and then he slowly turns into Ghostface. That was really cool. I mean, I knew it was Ghostface immediately, but still, it was really cool hearing him like go into it slowly. Yeah, I mean, the scares are fun. Kills are fun. It's a fun movie. It's not as good as Scream 1. Obviously, nothing, personally for me, nothing can get as good as that. But compared to the other Scream sequels, I think it's better than 3. I might like it more than 2. And I think it's on par with 4. Maybe better than 4 also. This might be my second favorite Scream movie. Because it's very fun, it's creative, it's gnarly as hell. And it's very subversive. It's just really the meta shit really goes all over the place, and it's like poetry. It rhymes. There is a lot of mirror images of the first movie in this. Nobody gets killed with a garage door this time, though. But I really do like how aware these kids were that one of them might be the killer, because that's something you don't see in the other ones, where it's the paranoia. Like, Sid is definitely paranoid, but nobody else is paranoid. But in this one, all of these friends are paranoid of each other, and nobody wants to be left alone with each other, which is very funny, and it's very real. Like, that's, of course I would be like that in a Scream movie. I would be like, no, I'm gonna stay home for the rest of this movie until it gets all figured out. I'm not being friends with you guys anymore. But yeah, that's what I thought about New Scream. What did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What didn't you like about it? And what did you like about it? Let me know in the comments or something. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I just really can't. Go see it a second time, because it's really the second time around. When you know who they are, you notice some things. There are some little things. So go see it the second time around. And yeah, if you guys are making Scream 6, would like a knife in the back, please. No, not in the back. I'd like to get stabbed, alright? Don't give me no backstab. I want to get stabbed in these movies, alright? Let me go out like the dude at the end, alright? Fucking dude from The Boys just gets stabbed 1 trillion times. Let me go out like that. But yeah, so it's my review Scream. I am currently editing the first Friday the 13th riff video, so that should be coming by the end of the month. At the end of every month is going to be when the Friday the 13th videos come out, so that's so you know. And in between, just whatever the fuck I have time for. But until then, see you guys then. Keep screaming? I don't know.